All right, good morning, everyone. It's 8:30 and we'll get started with the Monday, October 31st Halloween meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. So first on our agenda is acknowledge the minutes from the previous meetings.
So move for October 24th and 27th.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Sandquist, a second from Drish to approve the board minutes from October 24th and October 27th meetings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll move on then to meet with our county engineer. Good morning, Mr. Hines.
Good morning, supervisors. It's been a quiet week in the county, just spreading rock and doing general maintenance work. Thomas is working on closing out projects, and we've been pecking away at plan sets. And so we continue our construction program for next year. The maintainer operators have gone through and made a list of roads for contract road next year. We're reviewing that, and what we're looking at is dropping it to 500 tons a mile for the new roads this coming year, and then also reevaluating the ones that we put heavy rock on this past year, just to make sure we don't have any boils that need addressed. And we'll kind of play it by ear as we run through the contract rock and see how much we actually use. But we're looking at probably adding another 10 or 15,000 tons onto the 70,000 that we did last year. We think in a lot of the places, maybe 1,000 tons might be more than they need. So we hope to maybe stretch it a little bit, but without getting too thin.
Right.
So I think it's kind of a tight wire act between too much and not enough. Other than that, we've got a couple items on the agenda this morning.
Okay, then we'll move on to discuss and consider awarding contract for Cedar Avenue Bridge.
This was a load limited bridge over by Batavia. We got it just under the wire for IDOT swap. And basically everything after the November letting will go to federal aid, which gives them a few more hurdles to leap over for construction and design. So we're fortunate that we got this shoehorned in there. Scott had everything ready, just hadn't pulled the trigger on final design. And it was pretty much a no-brainer to update a couple things. Prices came in, I want to say $100,000 under engineer's estimate. Good. Pretty happy with the way it looks. And Iowa Bridge was the low bidder. Basically our local contractor, since they're out of Washington. And Cunningham Briggs, who's out of the Des Moines area, was the other bidder on the project.
Heard them.
And then I think we changed the resolution a little bit to award the contract and also authorize me to sign the contract online through the Doc Express system. So we don't have to come back after all the paperwork's done to have you guys make a resolution to authorize my signature on that.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve Iowa Bridge.
Second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist. Sorry, backwards. A motion from Sandquist, a second from Drish to approve the resolution, whereas bids received October 18th, 2022 for project number BROS-SWAP-C051, parent 81-FE-51, Iowa Bridge and Culvert, with a bid of $777,108.59. Cunningham Reese, a bid of $897,666.02. The engineer's estimate for this project was $979,999. Be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to award a contract to Iowa Bridge and Culvert LC of Washington, Iowa, to perform bridge replacement on Cedar Avenue over Rock Creek, Federal Highway Administration number 201805. Furthermore, be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to designate Jefferson County Engineer Dwayne Hines as authorized signatory for signing to execute the contract for the award of bridge construction project. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, discuss and consider hiring Calhoun Burns and Associates Incorporated for annual bridge inspection. This is something we do every year. Dwayne?
We've, I guess Calhoun Burns has been doing our bridge inspections probably for the past 10 years. They do a good job. They're efficient and they go out of their way to help us, or they have gone out of their way to help us since I've been here.
Good.
I don't know if at some point in the future we'll want to go out for bids on this. But
How many other companies are there? There's not very
there's
many over
only a
there.
handful in the state.
Because we
Mhm.
looked at that a while, a few years ago, and it was like,
You're fairly limited, and the nice thing is they've got the history on it, and as we go forward, if you went with somebody else, you're gonna pay for some education and build up of institutional memory, I guess, on which bridges. So I would recommend that we continue with the one we brought to the dance, I guess.
Okay, the resolution is read as follows. Be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to accept the proposal by Calhoun Burns and Associates Incorporated for the 2023 bridge inspection and rating program to be accepted for Jefferson County by signing of the signature of the Board of Supervisors chair. So it sounds like I'm the only one that's signing this.
I think.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. I've got a question.
Okay. Question.
So how much are we talking about?
It's $20,000, $20,300. And then they also, as part of this, if we have anything that comes up throughout the year that they need, they have a per item for scour inspections, or if we get a request for an odd load to go over one of our bridges, they'll do the load calculations for us on that.
Okay.
Which is why I'm wanting to take that bridge inspection class so we can limit that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it says here in the contract from Calhoun and Burns, we propose to re-inspect these 85 structures in 2023 for a lump sum fee of $20,310. We will perform any required load rating computations, including any new rating trucks, update scour elevations, evaluations, and complete fracture critical inspections to justify changes, deficiencies, replacements, repairs, funding, etc., at the following estimated rates. Load rating computations are $130 each. Updated level A or B scour evaluations, $110 each. Fracture critical inspections, $410 each.
Okay.
So that's where we're going there. So I have a motion.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you have the money for this new budget?
Yes, we do.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will sign this resolution, all three of us. Turn that to you. All right, we'll move on then to number 4, which is discuss and consider authorizing engineer for signing to execute contract for FM-C051, parent 083-55-51.
This was the Nutmeg and Larch Otis Seal base stabilization project. You guys voted to award the contract back in late September after it was let, but we did not at that time authorize me to complete the paperwork online.
Okay, motion approved.
Second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Sandquist, a second from Drish. The resolution reads, be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to designate Jefferson County Engineer Dwayne Hines as the authorized signatory for signing to execute the contract for the award of Seal Coat Project FM-C051- parent 83-55-51. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Item number 5. Discuss and consider wage rate increase for Veterans Affairs General Assistance Director. Okay, Ray, explain a little bit to us. I know you gave us an email that had a pretty good explanation of what this all is, but
Yeah, there really isn't a lot for me to compare to as far as wages. And so the Iowa Association of County Veteran Service Officers put out a wage across the counties across the state. And I noticed I had fallen behind a little bit, the average.
Did you happen to compare them to our like-sized counties?
Yes. The problem with that is out of the 10 counties I compared there, 5 of them are under 5 years experience. One of them,
And that's helpful to know,
there's
because normally I do that, but I just saw this Thursday, so I didn't have time.
Wenatchee County
Yeah,
has just slightly fewer than us, and their director has 11 years.
good job.
Their director has 11 years. Her wage is $29.70.
How many years have you represented us?
11,
11.
11 going on 12. Winnebago County has 2 people in the office.
So where does the money for the raise come from? Is that figured into the existing budget we currently have, or is this new monies that we have to appropriate?
Well, it's not in the salary line of the budget, but I look back through the years and there's usually enough between the assistants on both sides that it'll cover this.
Okay.
So how come we didn't talk about this during our budget meeting?
I didn't realize I was this far behind everybody else.
Because, you know, I don't like doing this mid-year stuff.
Ray, are there other counties similar to you as far as doing the general relief plus that?
There aren't a whole lot of them.
Yeah, because I realize that as far as duties, that's a big swing from taking care of our veterans to taking care of the people that need relief.
Right.
And I think that merits extra.
And then I also do things for the board
You do.
along with that. And in August, total benefit to Jefferson County from federal dollars was about 293,000. In September, it was 297,000.
So how's that computed, or what does that involve?
That has direct compensation. Direct compensation to 150 veterans is 239,000. Pension benefits to veterans, that's 28 of them, is 14,000. And then survivor benefits to spouses for veterans that have passed is 5,400. Then another survivor benefit is death indemnity compensation, which that's for people veterans that died from a service-connected disability. And we have 25 of those spouses for 38,000. And that gives us a total of 297,000.
Okay.
So that's direct money, dollars in the bank coming into Jefferson County.
So help me understand this.
Okay.
You're currently at what, 2453,
Right.
and you want to go to 2976? That's quite a jump. So how does that work?
You have my sheet though.
Oh, I do.
Okay. So I looked at the years of experience, the number of vets in the county first. And I did a comparison there, but then I noticed that out of 10 counties, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly seven of those 10 counties have less than 5 years experience. There is Winnebago County, like we talked, at 2970. So then I went back and I looked at counties that have the years experience I do.
Right.
And that's where I came up with the 2976. I went from 10 to 15 years of experience. And then I took an average of those wages.
Okay. I'd just like to table this till our next meeting to be able to do a comparison with like-sized counties, because these aren't our
While you're doing that, you need to consider the fact that this gentleman never really knows when a year starts what he's going to be entailed with. During COVID, we had a conversation about the general relief for people needing that. No, they were switching the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It's our veterans.
Oh, I know that.
I just think
I do know you have never come to us for an increase since I've been here.
No, the last time I came for an increase was 2015.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not very good about beating my own drum that way. I do have unanimous support from the commission.
That's what I wanted, that was my next question.
Yep. And, you know, in the military, I never had to ask for a raise because it was pretty much black and white.
Yeah,
the way it was.
just,
Yeah.
the steps just happened.
Yeah.
Excuse
Yep,
me.
so I'm not,
You know, if I look at it, what inflation, I just heard on the radio that in 19 or 18, we had a 2% inflation. And then it's hopped up to 5, then it hopped up to, even the social security recipients are getting an 8.77 increase. What is this increase for you? It is, what percent is that?
This year, I believe it's 8.6, 8.7%.
No, I know what that is. I was talking,
25,
what percent are you asking for?
1/5, so it'd be, you know, it'd be a 20%. Is that right?
Mm,
No,
I don't think so.
So what was your salary?
24,
24,
53.
that's the entire year, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So that would essentially be a $5,000 increase in my mind. So would that be what would that be?
17, 18%. So
Yeah.
very good.
Okay, about that.
You know, I guess if I was better at looking at this, I would have probably asked for a $2 raise 3 years ago and another $2 raise last year.
Right.
I understand.
So,
Yeah,
and I think that's something that I will put into the plan as far as wage increases for whoever follows me.
okay, so standing right now, I have a motion from Sandquist to table this to the next meeting.
It wasn't a motion, it was a comment.
Oh, you want to make that just a comment? Okay, so,
I'd just like to be able to compare it to like size counties, but if you two are satisfied,
I am satisfied.
because these
with
are
this. Just,
bigger counties. So
you know, I'm satisfied with this because
Well, the bottom tier, I guess I compared it by veteran population size.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right.
okay, so do I have a motion?
My motion is to approve the raise.
Okay, do I have a second? I will second that then. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Ray, thank you very much because I know you, before you even had this position, you had an important position involved in that.
Yeah.
I
Appreciate
immensely appreciate that.
Operation Greenlight seems to be doing well.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Seen a few
Yeah.
around
Why don't you
town this
review
morning.
that for us
Yeah.
while you're here?
Well, I've got some of the green lights in. They're not in the sockets yet, but I mean, I have possession of them.
Uh-huh.
And I've heard several announcements on the radio. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'm going to forward release to the newspaper, both the Fairfield Ledger and the Clarion today.
Well, and
Darren, have you signed this one?
and then talk about your general assistance part too, because I think it's always good for the public to get
Okay.
re-educated,
Okay.
reminded.
So the general assistance piece, we offer up to $500 once a year. And that can be in several different combinations, whether it be rent, utility, you know, as far as the pharmacy, the doctor, or the ambulance, if they qualify for our assistance, they qualify for Medicaid. So that really is not a line that we take into consideration.
And I know one of the qualifications is they need to be a resident, correct?
They have to be a resident of Jefferson County. They have to have an address. I mean,
Mhm.
it can't be transients moving in and out.
Yeah.
They either have to be working or they have to be on Social Security disability, or they have to be on, doctor's excuse of some type.
Sure.
So as long as you've worked here, have you always done both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So far this year, I've had 343 interactions in the general assistance. And I've had 1,655 in veterans.
That's huge. Thanks for helping our county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of those veterans are administrative, where I've gone in and researched
Yeah.
records and things like
Right.
that.
And that's important.
And I've had 459 benefits, inquiries or some work that I've done on those for veterans. I've only had 11 assistance requests.
Really?
Yeah. So hopefully, my goal is to get them off of the county dollar and get them onto the federal. Because federal money is every month, it's consistent.
That is an admirable goal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it helps our veterans. They've earned it.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
So,
Yes, they have.
okay. Any other questions?
No.
No.
All right. Thank you very much.
Ray, thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, discuss and consider procedures and standards for minimizing soil compaction in agricultural lands during utility construction on wetlands. And reading through the documentation that came with this, the specific objectives of the study are as follows: determine in situ field soil moisture and wellness at various soil consistency from field samples, soils at top and subsoil layers. The soil cone penetrometer will be measured at the sampling sites to document the in situ degree of soil compaction before construction activities. Measure soil testing on mechanical and physical properties according to the ASTM International and the American Society of Agricultural and Biological Engineers, ASABE standards for establishing the degree of soil consistency, plastic limit, liquid limit, and Proctor density levels. Mathematically estimate the rainfall events that creates soil wetness and weak soil bearing capacity for excessive rutting, and estimate the number of days allowing the soil to regain its load bearing support with less soil rutting. So those are the 3 specific things. Dee, do you want to talk a little bit about this? Because
I think Susie was going to do some
were you?
research.
Yeah, so I spoke with some supervisors as opposed to speaking with the person that wants the project, the money approved. And I found that, upon those conversations, I realized it wasn't us as supervisors determining the soil compaction, but it was us as supervisors giving our part of $600 to further a study that Iowa State University is going to do. And they're not going to just do it on this pipeline. They're going to do it on prior ones, look at the soil samples. And I think in the future, that'll be very beneficial to the farmers or anybody that wants to dig up soil. So I would like to make a motion to approve our participation in that with a monetary value of $600.
I'll second it.
okay, I have a motion from Drish and a second from Sandquist. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So $600 will be contributed to this to help that study, and we're going to send our contribution by November 15th. We have an address here for it, so.
I think it was also mentioned that they might like to know a little prior, just so they know the money coming.
Do you want me to send them an email?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay.
Jeremy, yeah.
Or do you want to
And
send
then
them an
we need
email,
a-
Darren?
Copy of that. Why don't you, Dee? You have a copy of that? Okay. All right. So you'll send an email alerting them that we are contributing the $600 that they were asking for from our county. All right, we'll move on to item number 7, which is discuss and consider filling vacant committee appointment openings. Susie.
I have some concerns that we have 2 people on the Historical Preservation Committee whose tenure or their service end date has been passed. We have 1 on progressive housing, and I would like to consider filling those spots.
Well, we'd have 2 on progressive housing.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. That is passed. I was
Yeah, that's
up to date.
passed.
You're absolutely correct. And on progressive housing, I see there are no women on that, and I do think boards should be somewhat gender balanced.
Okay, do you have any suggestions for
Progressive housing,
any of these that are openings?
Okay, this is Susie talking. I think Mickey Kerr does fine on historical preservation. Maybe we should continue that. I don't know if we've talked to Mark Schaefer about that position.
I think, yeah, I talked to him, like last time we talked about this, and I'm thinking he was not. wanting
That's
to
the
re-up.
same thing I recall.
Yeah.
So that would be one we need to fill. If we would drop down to progressive housing, Sean's the only one left on that. And I would like to consider appointing Becky Schmitz to that because she has dealt with those
That
folks
sounds like that
prior.
would be up her alley.
Absolutely.
Is she willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay,
Abby, do we need to put that in a separate meeting, or can we do that since it's discussed?
we would have to do it probably by resolution. wouldn't we?
I believe it usually is.
It
by
usually is.
Resolution.
Okay,
So we'll have to get,
So, but I do think these need filled. It makes
yeah,
mhm.
for a
Well-
strong county.
plus. Well, that's 23. Do you have any ideas for historical preservation, or maybe talk to, Joan's out here.
Jim's out here.
Whoever had it, if she had a break, we could ask her.
Mhm. Well, as far as historical preservation, Joan Saltz goes through 2024.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
but
I
to
just
ask her, because she's the chair of it.
Oh, if she
asked her
knows
if she had
anyone.
any ideas, but I would also like to fill that with a woman if possible, because
Sure.
more to the gender balance thing.
Okay. Alrighty, we'll do that, and then we'll come back with resolutions for people that have accepted.
Okay.
We will be looking for a 3rd person for the Jefferson County Progressive Housing, because we did have 2 openings, and we will ask Becky Schmitz for one of those openings. So we'll have to continue to look for someone for the 3rd. All right, so,
So let's continue this next week.
okay. All right, let's make committee reports.
I had really no committee reports as I had several appointments that, permitted me not to go. But I will say I'm on the 4-H Extension Council, Ag Extension Council, and we had a huge success at the trunk or treat. Last year we had 500 people. This year we had 1,304.
Wow, it's a lot.
Vendors were going across the street to get candy and coming back. It was great. The kids were all happy. They were waiting. And if you would go back to the pig building and go this way, and then follow the road this way, and then follow the road this way, that was the line.
Wow.
Abby, how long were you in that line?
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Well, that's not bad.
Just waiting to get inside.
yeah. And that's
Before
what,
you even went through it.
yeah. And that's with little kids being
No.
patient because they were so excited and they were all smiling. Nobody was crying. It was unusual.
Great. That's fantastic that
Yeah, I
program
thought it
has
was great.
grown
Oh,
over
it's-
the
It
years.
was huge. In fact, Courtney Burkholder's husband and his brother Adam brought their tractors and wagons where you could step up into the wagon and they were giving kids rides around. They were still giving rides at 4:30, ended at 4. It was great. We
Didn't
had
want to
taken,
disappoint anybody.
we had
That's
taken
great.
straw bales in and it became a bowling area.
We didn't go into the games
Yeah.
part and popcorn and all of that, but we went through all the
Yeah,
vendors
yeah.
and it was good.
Yeah, I just think we should be very proud of our community.
Enough sugar to last a year.
Yes. But one of the favorite things was a whoopee cushion,
Oh,
one of the last booths.
oh, yeah. Yeah, kids love those.
Yeah.
Kids, I would like to. Anyway, thanks, Abby.
Yes, thank you, Abby.
Anything else?
No, it was just great though.
Okay, Thursday from 5 to 7 is Jefferson County Conservation 50th Anniversary Celebration. So at the Jefferson County Nature Center, so mark that down.
What time?
5 to 7,
5 to 7.
November 3rd. And
Dean, I'd actually heard Danny Lewiston on the radio going through the whole timeline. I mean, back 50 years ago. It was- it
he
was
probably
pretty
had
cool.
that experience.
Yes, he did. Anyway, I didn't mean it.
No, that's fine. I had,
And that would be at the Jefferson County
Nature Center.
Nature Center. Okay.
I had RPC and ahead our Regional Housing Trust Fund. Anyway, we got our annual packet of like our board manual. So just to refresh what some of these committees are. Ready's a revolving loan fund with low interest loans for business, industry, retention, expansion, and startup activities. Ahead is a nonprofit to provide housing services to citizens. Regional Housing Trust Fund, they had a meeting because, as you remember, a couple years ago, I reported that they had given a grant to the Atoma schools to help train carpenters.
Mhm.
They built the house. Well, now with the change in the housing market, you know, it's to be sold to somebody that meets lower income levels where they decided they're going to have to raise the income because with the combination of the rise of interest and that.
Mhm.
So that's kind of why they needed that board meeting. And then RPC, they've got some money for a digital media project. It's kind of on the end of it, but they still have some money for about 5 more companies. So if anybody's interested in that, contact Chris Bowers up at Regional Planning. And part of what they're doing too with some of the loan funds is helping a locker down in Centerville expand. That's been in works for quite a while. But anyway, any of these economic development loans, you can contact our economic development director, Josh Larrabee, or Chris Bowers up at Regional Planning. I did a little research on space for mental health and came up with nothing, but I researched it. So I talked to Troy Seeley. And I know when we toured several months ago, it looked like he had space, but he's got that occupied now. And I talked to Ryan because I remembered that we get rent for the office space now that the state is funding mental health. So we get $10 a square foot. So the county has received $5,337.50 on rent from that. And that was right before the fiscal year.
Mhm.
And I wondered if we could, at some upcoming meeting, see if Jennifer Runyon could meet with us and let's just talk to her about the possibility of scanning. To see if, just have a conversation with her.
Mhm. Okay,
Can you schedule that or?
yeah, I can
Because I know
contact
you kind
Jennifer.
of connect with her.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, wow, one thing to put on our agenda for our next meeting, and I did email it to you, to discuss and consider if we want to do that IT assessment for ISAC that we talked about a while back, but we didn't really, we talked about it. So,
Mhm.
and that's all I've got, I think.
Okay. All right, I didn't have any committees that I went to this week. We did, though, have bid letting on furnace that's needed over at Pathfinders. And it's been suggested that we also should enter into a maintenance contract with a heating and cooling provider because we've got 5 other furnaces in that building. Well, there's, excuse me, I'll take that back. There's 4 total furnaces for the building. One of which went down, we have to replace. The other that does the Troy Seeley's office over there is the same vintage as the one that's being replaced. And it's having a problem with it right now because it needs to have its drainage system corrected.
And they've been there since
On it.
1989.
Yeah, 37 years. And
Good furnace.
yeah, and we also have 2 furnaces that supply the EHS office, which I haven't really determined how old they are yet, but I'm in the process of that. But it raises the question of how soon something's going to go out
Yeah.
over there. If we've got somebody that can professionally make an assessment of the systems and then follow through every year with an inspection, which would be part of a contract that we could have in doing this service. So we need to work a little bit to come up with an idea of what we would want to see the service do, write a proposal, and then send it out to plumbing and heating contractors around this location to see if they would be willing to do something like that. So, and I think that's about it. We do have our maintenance man, Dave, is back. He is restricted a little bit on what he can do, but
Such as,
weight, how much he can lift. Okay,
Is that-
and that'll be
what limit is that?
20 pounds.
Okay.
So we have to follow along with that for a while, but Dave is accomplishing quite a few things without stressing himself too much. And he is having regular appointments to get checked out because of that as well. So that's the 2 things I've identified this week and worked on around here. All right. Do we have any public comments from anybody that's on Zoom with us? Okay, hearing none. We have just our reporter in the office here with us. We don't have any of the general public in here. So we'll move on then to allow claims and approve reports.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist to allow claims and approve reports. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I would accept a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Sandquist, a second from Drish to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning for this meeting.